I may move back to New York.
Yeah, I don't know where you live that people are tripping you, but you should hang out here more, I think.
I agree.
We see signs all over saying Stan Lee will be here at this time. He'll be taking pictures at this time. We were wondering how you have so much energy to be able to be everywhere at once at Comic-Con.
I don't. I have a lot of doubles that I send in.
Nice.
No, you can't help but have energy when you're having fun. And when you're with people who are so excited about what they're doing, it's contagious. And however, I will admit it's nice to be sitting down here now talking to you.
Stan, how long have you been going to conventions?
All my life, since they started,
And-
whenever that was.
You know, by comparison, thousands, tens of thousands, maybe 100,000 people here. What was it like many years ago
When we had
conventions
six or seven, I think.
Yeah, and you were one of them, right?
No, it started, there was one guy whose name I forget, who had a place in Brooklyn, and he called a few people together in the cellar of his place to have they didn't call it a convention. He said, let's get together and meet and talk about comics. And it became a little ritual. They did that every few months, and more people came. And finally, they wised up, and they invited me to one. And it just grew and grew and grew. In fact, we have our own. There's one called Kamikaze, which is out on the coast in Los Angeles. It's going to be Halloween. We've been having it for the past few years. I'm changing the name. I'm getting rid of Kamikaze because nobody knows what that means. So now it's going to be called Stan Lee Super Los Angeles Con. So if any of you are anywhere near Los Angeles, buy yourself a ticket, get out to the city, mention that you were here, and I'll give you a discount on your ticket.
I'm curious, as someone who has seen so many conventions, we talk a lot up here about fandom and how people express their fandom of comics and movies and pop culture, be it through cosplay or talking together or seeing panels. What changes have you seen over time in how fandom is expressed, and what has stayed exactly the same?
Well, the enthusiasm has been exactly the same, but the change has been comics have become so important in the world, not just in America, but in the world. Everybody, you go to China, you go to Japan, you go to India, you go to Africa, everybody knows our characters. And when I say our, I even include the bad guys, over in D.C. But of course they know ours better. But it's incredible how it's not just pop culture anymore, it's culture. You know what I mean? It's become part of the cultural life of the country.
Absolutely.
And I kind of like that.
Me too. In fact, I was going to ask because I know a lot of the characters and comics you created had very relevant application to current events of the time, wars, activism, current issues, and we find relevancy to those same characters in our current events that are happening right now. Is that because the characters were always that relevant, or is it because they've changed and grown with us?
Well, when I did those characters years ago, I like to imagine that they existed. And I would think, what would their life be like if they lived today? Besides fighting the supervillains, they still have to worry about paying taxes and all the other stuff. Reality. If you can mix reality with fantasy, that's the best kind of story.
Right.
For example, when we did the Fantastic Four, I didn't want them just to have a headquarters in some city that I made up the name of, but they had the headquarters in New York, and it was on the east side. I forget the exact address. And Peter Parker, I had him live in Forest Hills. So and when he drove a car, he always wanted a Corvette. He didn't want a whiz-bang or some name we'd make up. So even though these were fantasy characters, we tried to write them as if they existed in the real world. Just like I'm trying to imagine now that I'm in the real world talking to actual people. I don't know who the hell is out there, but I'm telling myself that they're real people.
They look pretty real to me.
They're
both
real.
of them.
Yeah.
I was going to ask as well, you know, we moved from comics to so many other applications of these characters, including the movie universe. And people love to talk about the cameos that you make in your movies. And in fact, I would say that you're maybe one of the foremost experts on making cameos in movies.
I have created a whole new career. There was no such thing as a cameo career. Now I get people coming up to me in the street, Mr. Lee, could you teach me how to do that? I'm only kidding, but it feels that way.
I read something saying that you recently kind of shot 4 cameos in a single day. That's true?
But it's not that difficult. Each cameo is like 60 seconds, so, you know, I can handle that. I did one for the Black Panther.
Okay.
I did one for the magician. What's our magician's name?
Dr. Strange.
Dr. Strange. Gee, I couldn't think of his name.
They helped us.
Now, by the way, talking about Dr. Strange, you know, it used to be in any story that you tell a little kid about a magician, you'd say, and he went abracadabra and this happened. Well, I didn't want Dr. Strange to go abracadabra. I wanted him to be a real magician. So I made up these incantations. If he wanted something to happen, he'd say, by the hoary hosts of Hagen, or by the shades of the shadowy seraphim. Things that meant nothing, but I thought they sounded magical. And we've had more fun with those expressions. You'll see when you go to the movie. And you better go to the movie or I'll feel I've been wasting my time here.
Yeah. Multiple times.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that. As the creator, what are some of the things that you're most excited about in that movie that we should look for?
My cameo. No. I'm not allowed to give anything away. All I can say is it's one of the great movies of all time.
Oh, wow.
Did I tell you why my cameos help them to make all the money they do?
No.
I bet you never thought of this. A couple you two go to the movies, let's say,
Okay.
right? And you're watching the movie, and suddenly you say you'd like some popcorn. So you both reach down the popcorn bag. At that moment, my cameo is on the screen and you missed it. So what do you do when the movie ends? You say, we missed Stan's cameo. So you go back to the box office and you buy 2 more tickets. And that's why they make so much money.
I mean, that combined with the creative genius of the movie,
Of
of
course.
course, you know, that.
Right.
You also mentioned the Black Panther, and we got a huge cheer from the crowd. Can you tell us a little bit about the Black Panther and how he exists in the Marvel world right
Well,
now?
he is not only one of the great fighters of all time, but he's an intellectual scientist. I wanted to not just make it seem that a guy from Africa is strong and can fight well, that he has his own little nation underground. On the surface, it looks like they're thatch huts, but underground, he's got a small New York living there. Well, I don't want to take it too far. You're going to love the movie.
We can't wait. Yeah, Stan, you know, you have been the source of so many great heroes, villains, worlds, concepts, ideas. Do these still pop in your head, and are you just constantly, yeah.
I have a little company now called POW Entertainment, P-O-W. I'm sure you've all already figured out it stands for Purveyors of Wonder.
Of course.
And we're doing movies and television shows. We have a television show in England now called Mr. Lucky. And it's really been great. You know, Mr. Luck. You know, I forgot the name of my own show. It's something like that. And the reason I came up with that is fans at conventions always used to ask me, what would you think is the greatest power to have? And I always used to say luck, because if you have good luck, then everything goes for you. If a guy shoots at you, he'll miss, and so forth.
Right.
But they say, why didn't you make a character who's super lucky? And I said, because I don't know what kind of costume he'd wear. And without a costume, you can't have a superhero. But in England, we have this guy, he does wear a costume. And it's a great show. It'll come here soon, you'll see it. And oh, we have a movie we're working on called The Annihilator. Wait till you catch The Annihilator. That's about a year away, we're gonna start filming it soon. And we have a couple of others, but I'm not supposed to talk about them. Sorry. I wish I could. I love talking about what we're doing, and I hate when people say you mustn't mention it.
You have to be a man of many secrets when you're as creative as you are.
Luckily, I can keep it. I should be with one of the intelligence agencies. I can keep such secrets.
Well, I wanted to ask you before we're out of time. You mentioned POW Entertainment, and I also know you have the Stan Lee Foundation that's focused on doing some awesome things with education and diversity and awesome things. What are some things that you would like your fans to check out and support for you?
Well, one of the things, I don't know if I brought them with me, I have some little pins that show a white hand clasping a black hand in a gesture of solidarity. And above it is lettered the word respect. I think that this is something we need. What's happening in the country today is really awful. And whatever help these pins will be, I've been carrying them. I have people who are selling them. They're only $10. We're not looking to get rich. And you get 2 pins, one for yourself and one to give to a friend. And we have some big organizations that are getting behind me. You'll be hearing about it soon. So that's one of the things I'm working on. And another thing I'm working on is trying to think of things to say when I'm on stage like this. Because I'm looking at the picture of me. You can't see it. There's a picture down there of me, and I keep moving, and my head is moving, and I'm trying to figure out why am I moving so
You're
much.
getting distracted by your own cameo.
That's right. Oh, now I see all of you. It's switched to a wider show. Beautiful. Amuse yourselves. I want to watch this.
So, before we go, where can people get their hands on the pin? Should they look around for people who are selling them here?
Oh, I'll go to the internet.
Okay.
And just go to. I forgot what it is. It's respect. Stanley Respect or something like that. You'll find it. You look around.
They're good at using Google. They
Yeah.
can find it. All right. Thank you so very much, Stanley.
Yes, thank you.